Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I was just looking through my book to see. Yesterday, Mercury went retrograde. I believe that is right. The 17th. So, no signing of contracts. You can avoid it. Time to do a review. I'm Charmaine. I'm going to go ahead and check in with the energy, what soul lesson you're on for today. So, whenever you find this reading, it's meant for you. And if you're not seeing it during a retrograde, take the energy of it's time to review. Pause, stop, reassess. All right, so stations direct on August 11th. All right, so that's what time frame we're looking at. So until the 11th, I would say take it easy. Go back, review the work you've done. Don't initiate. Not a time to initiate communication. Mercury rules communication. And so it is the planet of communication. And so we want to make sure our communication is clear. We mean what we say. We hear what is said. The intention matches what's being said. And during a retrograde, a lot of times that doesn't happen. I also always look at retrogrades is a time to go inward. And so it's an opportunity maybe to even look at how you're communicating. How are you communicating to yourself? Self-communication. But always a review, I feel you. Oh, definitely self-talk. Okay. I think Chiron is due to go retrograde. Chiron is the wounded healer. That's coming up at the end of the month. So, orphaned. So sad little energy, left out of a party. But this is in reverse, right? So this is your soul's lesson, is to sort of think about this experience of being orphaned from a different place. So like I just said, I think about retrograde, especially Mercury retrograde. How are we talking to ourselves? What does that internal self-talk look like? I'm not wanted. I'm being abandoned. It's time to change that language. And this is going to give you an opportunity in that window of time that I mentioned this month. Listen to how you speak to yourself. Listen to the words that you're using. Are you saying how you feel? Or are you holding back in order to fit in? Are you being authentic? Let's see. Orphaned in reverse. Let's check out the message here. The shadow side of the card speaks to the essence of abandonment. Perhaps you feel a need to remain apart because intimacy is too threatening. That was what I was just saying. Are you speaking from an authentic place, or are you being very guarded? And in fact, then that brings you more of that sense of being alone, more of that sense of isolation, and then it confirms, right? You create that confirmation bias. See, no one really loves me, because that's usually right. That's the root of that. It's time to address the unhealthy alliances you formed. Oh, I'm sorry, I've skipped a line. Oh, it warns against creating inappropriate family structures in order to conceal old wounds. That's a tall one there. It's time to address the unhealthy alliances you formed and make a decision to heal the past. You will not be abandoned by the world if you claim yourself as whole. So we're the ones who continue to perpetrate wounds of the past because we do that to ourselves in our connections when we already know the future. I'm doing tarot reading. I'm talking about future reading, but I don't. We're reading energy. And so I know this isn't going to work out, so I'm not going to try. I know these people are going to reject me, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to make friends. I know this situation is toxic or unhealthy. These people are racist. These people are classist. These people don't believe what I believe, whatever it is. And then you shut down the opportunities for connection because of old wounds. And this isn't to say those situations don't exist, they do. But we don't have to preemptively strike, like move in advance so that we don't feel hurt. Because then every connection, when I say connection, I mean your connection, your energy and another energy comes together and creates a connection, 2 points that come together, is tainted, is overshadowed by past energies, the harm others have done, the harm that we continue to carry with us into new connections, because we are entering a new timeline collectively. We're moving towards new and a whole new earth, right? And we've gone through some major portals over the last few months, and we've got the 8-8 portal coming up, one of my favorites, Lionsgate. That's when Sirius, it's a star out there that I forget how many times bigger than our sun. It just imbues the planet with so much healing light and joy. It's one of my favorite times. But if we're dragging all this muck from these past cycles forward, it doesn't really give new energy a chance to be new. We're pouring all of the past into those connections, and that's in our power. That's what your soul wants you to know. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, here. Not all relationships are dysfunctional, and not all of them will disappoint you. Don't abandon yourself. You can connect to others in healthy ways once you recognize your patterns and consciously choose to interrupt them. Life wants to love you, so let it. All right, enough of the it's never going to work out. It will never work out if that's what you say. And listen, I get it. Trust me. I've spent most of my life, I mean, only recently have I learned that I'm the one who is in charge of how wonderful my life can be. I'm in charge of that. And it starts with, what do I expect to meet me? And that took having to go back and review a lot of, like, that's the retrograde, to go back and review. I had to go back and review, so, through moving and having my life blown apart and put back together and blown apart, put back together. That in this, probably a couple years back, as I was reemerging out of a huge healing cycle, re-entering the world, I had to look at all. It was a resume. I was filling out a resume. I hadn't filled out a resume, like a job resume for the the regular world. I had been an academic for so long. I had a certain kind of script, and I hadn't applied for a job, I don't know, 8 years. And this is a different world after the pandemic. So I had to remarket myself and talk about my experiences, not only because so much time had passed, that was difficult, but also the world had changed and the work I would do would change. So then I had to kind of reframe my experiences for this resume. And when I looked at all of the gifts, I'll call them gifts, I was given in my journey and time, I could not say that I recognized them as gifts at the time. And I can think of one grant in particular. I had received a grant to do some research in year one, let's say. And in year two, when I reapplied for the grant, I didn't get the full amount. I got a partial amount. And I was so upset because, I thought my work was worthy. And of course, that's how I deemed it. I didn't get the full award, so therefore my work wasn't worthy. But, the explanation was, you this is your second year of receiving this award. We really want to make it available for other people. This is all there's nothing to do with my worth and the worth of my work. But that's, of course, how I understood it. And I was bitter. And that colored that research, that colored the report, that colored my relationship, because you didn't think my work was worthy. And that's because I had attached money to my worth. I mean, still struggling with that one. Yeah, I've got to move right now, and I've had to downsize how I'm living. What, and the conversation with spirit is, what did I do wrong? Why are you making me live like this? It's awful. It's not great. It's not good. Trust me. The conversation back was not, it was like, really? Really, Charmaine? You want to see awful? It's not awful. But it is if I attach, right, my worth to my work, my worth to my living space, my worth to my job title, my worth to the vehicle I drive, to the people I'm in relationship with. And why? Because I don't have a strong sense of my own self-worth. Like in that project had worth in and of itself. I didn't need validation externally by the grant. The idea was good. The people I interviewed was great. The knowledge that was produced would help expand other knowledge. It by itself was intrinsically valuable. But the only measure I gave it was money behind it. External validation. Yes, of course, we navigate in a world that we need money to exchange. But that's different than money being the determinant of the value of the work we do. And the truth of that is the value of our own ideas, because that's who we are. We are an idea. We're a consciousness. Our worth and value being tied up, and is it being rewarded externally instead of knowing that internally? And then when it doesn't show up in the form we expect it to, then we have a whole story. We have a whole story around it. And what I mean by that is I'm expecting, in that case with the grant, I'm expecting the money to come in. Therefore, I'm now questioning my own worth and value of this work. And therefore, I might say, oh, see, none of my ideas are any good. Nobody values anything I do. And then I might stop doing it. It's not true. It is valuable. So, anyways, that's the message for today. That's it. I'm not going to read any cards. So, what do you do with that? Where do we go with that? Right? Where are you kind of in this cycle of looking for that external validation, bringing in that past story in a new situation? Because we're in a new era, a new timeline, new. We're going to leave that baggage behind. Here you are showing up in the Seven of Cups, right? Lots of options. What's it going to be? It's up to us, right? We're manifesting it. We have new here, but we also have to step into the new and make it new. If we choose to play out the old games, we choose to bring the old self, then, the choice is already set for us. In front of you, Five of Cups. Let me keep laying this out. In the past, Page of Swords. There's that communication. How have you been communicating? And where has it led you to, right? This Five of Cups. Disappointment. Your challenge is Six of Pentacles. That looks like external validation to me. Coming in is King of Wands. King of Wands doesn't need anyone to validate him. All right. And then your next move to align with the energy, High Priestess. She's very strong this week. Um, following your intuition. Following your intuition, the soul lesson. Oh, it's a head game. Eight of Swords, right? Yeah. It's time to turn this orphaned identity on its head, and it's where it lives. You're trapped. You're trapped in this mindset you need to free yourself out of so that you can really step into your power. And that's why things are a little bit confusing, not really sure which way to go. Everything seems so new and different. You definitely want to avoid disappointment, but it's your choice on what you want to focus on, right? So this figure in the card is focused deeply on this loss of this Three of Cups, which symbolizes things that made us happy and joy. Instead of seeing these two cups, new opportunity, new partnerships, new people, new connections, but your back is turned. You've got to turn around. You've got to turn around and stop looking at what didn't work. Stop telling yourself that story over and over again. It's time to release that story because that story is living in your head and it is keeping you stuck and trapped. And this is the story, right? This is the obstacle. I need someone to help me, and this isn't to say we don't want to help one another, but you have to make the decision, even if you had all of the help. So back to my grant story. Let's say they funded it in year 2. This is typical, this is what if I found, right? This could happen. I would then find my colleague who received double what I received for their research. Oh, wow. I didn't get that much money. Oh, wow. Maybe my work isn't valued, right? We're stuck. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep reaffirming the story. It doesn't matter if it gets funded or it doesn't get funded. Or you chase and change to fit. Oh, I heard this is funded, so let me do that. Oh, and now you're living out someone else's story, or you didn't get funded. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. We can just think about all the ways in which we look for that external validation of the story we've already created in our minds, not by what is actually showing up in our lives, but what story we already have before we even engage based on the past. So this is a time with this Mercury retrograde over the next month is to really think about what are the messages and the stories that you're telling yourself. And are these stories that always lead you to disappointment and leave you always waiting for someone else to tell you your worth and value? Or are you ready to start trusting your soul to guide you and tell you who you are so that you can step into your full power? All right. So that's my advice for you. Let's see if we can get just a little more about how you might hear yourself better. High Priestess, Empress. Know your worth. Know that you are abundant and that you can create any and everything you want in your life. And I can imagine some of you out there are like, oh, really? Well, then why why do I have what I have? Answer, because the stories you're telling yourself. So start by knowing how amazing and abundant you are and creative. It's all inside of you. All of your creativity, all of your love and nurturing and joy and je ne sais quoi. Like that's all in you. It's all there. But you need to believe that. Queen of Pentacles. Do what feels good to you. That's your guide, right? What is nurturing to self? What is loving to yourself? And do you know your worth? And if you don't, look at the things that you've created. Look at the ways, one of my favorite ways to think about this, look at the ways in which people have come and harvested off of you? How have people come and taken and exploited you? Well, if you had nothing of worth or value, they wouldn't have done that. And we've all experienced some version of having our creative energy, our life force taken by someone else for their own purposes. It wouldn't come if you didn't have something amazing inside of you. 10 of Pentacles, I'm going to add one more to that. 5 of Pentacles, there you go. It's your choice. Which one? Is it, I am fully abundant and taken care of, or I am always out in the cold? Nothing ever works out for me. So, you know what's beautiful about this? It's totally in your hands. That's the message that's coming down. This being an orphan, no more. This is not someone else's definition of you. This is your definition of you. And that's what's being asked to be released and looked at in this Mercury retrograde. What are the stories you're telling yourself? How are you communicating to yourself? All right, so it's time for a new story. And a story, not of these 5 of Pentacles. It's 10 of Pentacles. All right, I hope you know, because I can see it, how awesome and amazing you really are. And you don't need me to validate that for you, okay? But I'm going to validate you anyways. It's time to believe it.